welcome to Soul Hugs, episode 14. I'm so happy that I still do it and I keep doing it. Welcome back in Whistler. I'm back after Montreal and I actually have no idea how long this episode will be. I'm really happy. I'm not happy to be back, but I'm really happy with how I am and what I feel. Yeah, I went through a lot. It wasn't vacation. It was not vacation. And it also wasn't planned as a vacation. I just told one of my friends just earlier how Montreal was. I think it's the second or third time that I'm telling someone. And honestly, every time when I tell someone about it, all the adrenaline is back in my body. I can feel it. And I really don't want to lose the spark. I don't want to lose this whole aura. So I really wanted to record as soon as I could, even that I know I will post it in 4 weeks time. But I can imagine that my energy or everything will be a bit different as well in 4 weeks time. So better now than later. I actually don't know how to start. Today's episode will be about Montreal. I recorded an episode before and I had the feeling already that Montreal will help me to get some clarity, and not necessarily that something will happen there, but kind of. I really hope that it won't be a person because at the same time it's I don't know, it was a weird in between, but I was I don't want to meet someone to get stuck there. I don't want to get stuck in general because of a person. Spoiler, I haven't met anyone, which is completely fine. I thought of writing down all my texts, which I did not. I did everything, but not this. I thought, I will have time in Montreal if I'm bored or something. So, yeah, didn't happen. I wasn't bored at all. Actually, everyone who asked me how Montreal was, not describable in a short sentence. Not at all. It was everything. I felt so much and I went through so much. I cried, which barely happens. For everyone who thought I'm going there to have a little holiday or a few weeks off work. No vacation. That was not a vacation, not at all. When I think about it, it actually feels like I was living in a movie. That was insane. You can't make that up, honestly. That is insane. That is fucking crazy. But yeah, no, I think I will just start and we will jump into it. So, let me quickly tell you about the way to Montreal. So everything was normal, nothing crazy, but what I want to talk about is how I felt and what I thought, because I took the bus from Whistler to the airport, and how it is you listen to music, you see all the trees and everything passing by, and you're in your bubble and your little own movie, main character vibes. And I saw everything passing by and I was it is such a bubble. Leaving the bubble right now. I arrived at the airport and I could already feel what a different vibe it is. It kind of felt like a new chapter, even that I knew it isn't. I looked forward to everything that will happen. But just the feeling of sitting at the airport and going somewhere else, especially going somewhere else by yourself. I just love that. But I found it so crazy how different I felt already at the Vancouver airport. It was just such a different feeling. It was such a positive and better feeling than being in Whistler. My really good friend asked me, what are your plans for Montreal? And I was I have no idea. I didn't plan anything. I will go there and I will see what will happen, Took my flight, so arrived later than midnight at the airport. Took the shuttle to Montreal downtown, because I booked a hostel for the first night. Because I found a friend I met in Australia. We worked together, but we only worked maybe 3 weeks together, and we never had a proper conversation. He helped me so much. Like, biggest thanks to him. So I could stay with his like flatmates and like in the flat basically. Honestly, I'm beyond grateful for that. Yeah, he really helped me out. We are like on the same wavelength on that we help each other out because we know how it is. And I really appreciate that. I really do. So I could stay at his. He was like, oh, you can like come up straight to like my place. And I was like, thank you, but no. Like, I don't want to arrive in the middle of the night after midnight and then knock on your door at like 3 or 4 a.m. Like, bloody hell, no. I will take a hostel for the first night and I will like move to yours on the next day. So that's what I did. I was in the shuttle. I haven't seen anything from Montreal. I was sweating. I was tired. I saw like the traffic lights and like the cars passing by. And I felt so alive. I thought, Whistler really takes my spark. Because how I feel and how I am is right now. Like the way I am right now, the way I feel right now, that's my normal state. That's who I am. And that's how I am. I felt so alive and so euphoric, and I was like, that's me. That's me. And I don't feel anything at all in Whistler. So like I realized without actually even seeing the city, seeing the vibe, seeing the people, feeling the vibe, feeling the people, I need to leave Whistler. I need to leave Whistler because Whistler is not good for me. Not at all. And that's the thing, like I knew it beforehand. I tried so hard at the beginning, but at some point I realized it is not my place. But I stayed and like kept going and tried because that's what I do. I need challenges. I want to grow, but it is not the challenge I was seeking. It was not the challenge I was looking for, and it isn't really a challenge. It's nothing. It's like there's nothing I can change. It just dims my light and dims my spark. The people here, the vibe here, not that it is bad, that's not what I'm saying. I found a few really important people here. I did. And I really appreciate every single one of them. But there's something about Whistler that is not describable. It is definitely not for everybody. That's like what so many people told me. And I think that's maybe also one reason why I stayed, because I was like, yeah, totally understandable that it is not for everybody, but I really want to make it work for me. I really want this challenge, but that was not the challenge I needed, for sure not. It doesn't help my growth, not at all. It dims my growth. So many people are saying or telling, oh, Whistler is so open-minded, yada, yada, yada. Sorry to say that, and I think a lot of people will like disagree with me or hate me for saying this, but I don't think that Whistler is open-minded at all. It is very acceptable. Everyone can be how you want to be, but the people, especially my age, if they say to me I'm open-minded, fuck off. The way you behave as soon as someone approaches you, everything needs to be something as soon as you approach someone. It's not about just like the being together. Not necessarily everyone here in Whistler, definitely not, but like that's how I perceive it. People trying to be something they're not, or like they pretend to be something they're not. The community, not Whistler community, because like there are a few different ones, but the people I'm surrounded by, the community I'm part of, like the people that come overseas for a season or like I don't know for how long, the young people, the people that are always out. This community performs rather than breathes. That's not the surrounding I want to be in. But yeah, that's how I felt on the way to Montreal downtown. I was like, Whistler's not my place. And I finally accepted that. Yeah, my walk from the bus station to the hostel, walking around the city in the middle of the night, that's a vibe in general. And I felt so alive. I felt so good. I was like, that's me. That's Erna. She's back. I love that. What I dreamed of first night in Montreal was going back to Australia. I'm like, I won't take that as a sign. I just like accept that I dreamed about it. Also like the feeling in the dream. I never remember what I dreamed of. I never remember it, barely. But yeah, I woke up and like it was burned into my brain basically. Obviously I got ready, checked out, moved to my friend's place. He was showing me around Montreal. When my friend showed me around, he asked me, like, I never thought about that, and that's why I love meeting people. That's why I love speaking to people and speaking with people and having their perceptions and their perspectives, because they've met other people than I did. What do I like about Whistler? And where's my favorite place or my favorite spot? And I actually couldn't think of anything. I couldn't think of a favorite spot. And I couldn't think of anything I like about Whistler. And he said that that's how you can tell or see if a place is for you or not. And nothing came into my mind, so obviously it was another reason that Whistler is really not my place. And that's okay. That was my first day. And then on the second day, on Saturday, was the briefing, the Formula One briefing. I was so excited. The briefing was in French, completely held in French. No, but like that's the frustrating thing. I have a degree in French. I could speak French, not fluently, obviously, but I have a degree. I have a degree in French. That was 7 years ago. No, 8 years ago. I forgot everything. Not everything, but a few things. And like sometimes I can pick up on like some words, and depending on the situation you can like assume or like tell what the context is. But still, like it was really frustrating because I really love speaking another language. I love languages in general, and I think that's one of the most impressive and attractive things, if people can speak more languages. That is so impressive. Just love it so much. And yeah, just the skill you have and like what it connects in your brain as well, like speaking different languages. I thought, I was like so motivated. I was like, yeah, it should be fine. Everything should be fine. Like I won't understand everything, but I think I can understand a bit. I understood nothing. Not a word. Not a word. But that's fine. Like, because I wasn't the only one that couldn't speak French. I mean, I can, but like, I need some more time to get back in. But I wasn't the only one that couldn't understand. There were a few people. When I was walking to the tent where we had the briefing, I already met like 3 lovely people. That was really nice. And then Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, I was like just walking around a bit. I tried a few different cafes and was editing on my episode. There was one cafe I went to. Such a nice vibe, and I was like sitting there, and they have power banks everywhere where you can like charge your phone and your laptop and everything. So just this alone is like, I just love it, like that's what I miss. Cafes like this where you just like go and like work in your own workflow, and right and left I was like surrounded by people who did the same. I was surrounded by people who were working on the laptop as well, speaking English and French, and I was like, I'm in heaven. Honestly, I'm in heaven, and I'm so happy. I feel so good. I feel so right. I was like, Montreal, that was exactly the place I should have gone. That's exactly the place I want to be. Being surrounded by people who speak English and French, that's the challenge I needed. That's the challenge I wanted to like grow and to develop. Yeah, on Wednesday I went to the park. That's also one thing I miss. Just like so like parks that are so big that you can just like be. And the whole feeling in general, being in such a big city and being anonymous. I think that I mentioned that in a few episodes as well. Just like What I love about cities, as much as I enjoy the nature and like the countryside, what I love about cities or new cities is that you're so anonymous. You are in your own bubble and no one cares. You can do everything, you can think of everything, and I don't know, I just love it. I love it so much. Yeah, went to the park to just be, because I was like, okay, I think I should like write down a journal and reflect and think about what are my next steps. What do I want and where do I want to go? Because so much has happened already, and it was hard for me to sort it in my head, to actually like be able to think of something, because I felt so much and I thought so much. So I used this day to be somewhere where I really enjoy being, with my music, staring in the sky, looking at the clouds, and just being in my head, thinking about my feelings and my options and my ideas. It was quite hard to figure it out where I want to go, because like the first thing I could say was that there's no way I will take this sponsorship. There's no way I will stay longer or like another year in Whistler. I would love to take the sponsorship with my work. I have like 2 jobs, but like my main work, I love it. I enjoy working there, but I also love the place here, which is connected to my other job. And with the sponsorship, I'm only allowed to work at one place, which would mean that I would lose my apartment. But I was convinced that like I can find solutions for everything. You know, that's not the thing. Like I thought about a few options. I thought about, if that would be the case, would that make me stay? If that would be the case, would that make me stay? With every option and every single solution I could think of, the answer was always no. So yeah, I knew I will definitely go back and support and stay for summer, because that's the least I can do. And then I thought about, okay, I would love to stay here in Montreal for the second year, but that would also mean I would need to find a sponsor, because I can't extend my visa. We only get 1 year, and if it doesn't work out, where would I go? I thought about my dream from my first night with like going back to Australia, and even that I see myself in Australia at some point. When I thought about it, if that would be an option, I was like, not right now. Yes, I do see myself in Australia, and I would love to like settle for a few years in Australia. It is not the right time. Not yet. So Australia was like off the list. And I was like, okay, if Canada or Montreal doesn't work out, what then? Would I go back to Germany? My hometown is definitely not where I belong. But what about Berlin? Or what about Hamburg? What about Cologne? Like a few bigger cities where like a lot more is going on. Because I knew I really want to have a kind of normal life at the moment. A routine, people, my work, and just myself. That's what I imagine or like see if I would go to Germany. What I could definitely build. But at the same time, I was like, I don't see myself in Germany. I can't align my values, what is important to me, to the German mindset or the German lifestyle. Not at the moment. And I also don't see myself in Germany long term. That's the thing. Like as soon as you go back, everyone lives their own life, and you can't build a life on relying on the people. You can, but that's not how I want to build my life. I don't want to rely on people. Even that people are one of the biggest factors I'm longing for in my life. When I broke it down, I was like, okay, I think it's Montreal for now. I don't need to find or like have a place for the long term. I just want to have a place or city for now. And I think for now, at least for a year, it is Montreal. I would love to stay here. And it is such an open and cultural, active city. And there's so much happening. And of course, like, there's always a lot happening in summer everywhere. But I don't know, maybe I'm a city girl where I can just live in my own bubble and take my time in nature to be really present. That was on Wednesday, so I was like, okay, Montreal it is. To be able to make it work, I need to find a sponsor. So what I will do and what I will use this time here for will be to apply everywhere I can, to walk in there in person, to introduce myself, to the people, at least have a face to the application and to the person. They can tell from like the vibe if they want me or not, if I would fit in there or not. So on Thursday, I wrote my CVs. And then a friend messaged me asking how I am and how I like Montreal. And I replied to her, telling her what I'm gonna do and what I'm doing right now. By telling her, I realized that I actually have a week to apply. Normally, in every other circumstances, I would say, yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. I arrived Montreal already with like running on low, energy-wise. I'm running on low already since a few months here in Whistler. I kept going and I kept pushing through, but I could never recharge here. So that's why I'm running on low. I scratched together all the energy that was left. I put the rest of my energy into the applications. When she messaged me and when I replied, I think it was just like my body or my brain reacting to being overwhelmed and like not having enough energy to like calm myself down and everything. So I haven't had a panic attack, but I was like really stressing out. Like I posted one of my stories and that was on this day outside of the cafe. This day was like crazy. I was like, oh my God, I want to cry and I'm overwhelmed and I just need a hug, but there is no one. I was like, oh, Anna, okay, like the only thing you will do today, you just like go to print out your CVs and you've done enough for today. And then you go home and you start applying tomorrow. And that's exactly what I did. So I applied on Friday. I researched first where I can apply. I went into a few cafes to have a coffee, just also to see the vibe, to like think, like see for myself, or do I see myself working here? It's like ticked off every cafe, and I think like I printed out at least 25 CVs and went on a run. That's the thing, the bus and the metro was striking, so I had to walk basically everywhere. I was like walking around so much that I got blisters. So I continued on Saturday. I took a day off on Sunday to also edit my episode. So I was editing and then I was on my way to a festival where my friend, he was security guard there. So he had some tickets. And I wanted to go there just to check it out, but the queue was so long, so I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But on my way to the festival, I updated one of my friends as well, and he is pretty much into Formula 1 as well. The good thing is that he knows all like the people behind Formula 1 engineers or like the photographers. Like he's really interested in also like business people, and there are like a lot of business people there. Yeah, so he has a different point of view of Formula 1. I told him like I'm just gonna apply everywhere here where I feel like where I could see myself. Then he was like, Anna, why do you not apply straight to Formula 1? And then I ended up near the paddock. I can't believe it. They're filming for Netflix. The tears were so heavy, and I felt so empty at the same time. Sometimes you don't want to be the person that pushes you and supports you and like motivates you yourself. Sometimes you would love to have a person that just gives you a hug and says everything is fine.